Hi everyone, my name is Tammy Reger, and today I want to talk to you about the root chakra. I've been doing videos regularly for a time period in the beginning of March, and I just stopped. And the reason was because the spring equinox really threw me for a loop. It really brought in some really deep healing in the root chakra. And I was literally just letting myself ride the roller coaster, and it was very on and off. At times I felt like I could do a video, and then the next thing I knew there was something else coming up. And I want to share a little bit about that experience because I find that many people are going through a similar thing. And I've worked through pretty much all the chakras at this point at different levels, and the root chakra to me was, I don't want to say the hardest, but the bumpiest. It really gets into things that we really don't want to face, things that we don't want to see about ourselves, things that we don't want to admit about ourselves, things that we don't want to revisit, and it requires us to do so. And I'll share a little bit why you need to do it and why it's so important to do the work, and then what has happened and shifted since I did do the work. So the root chakra sits at the base of the spine. It is the point at which most people do grounding from. They either send it from the bottoms of their feet or from the base of their chakra down into Mother Earth. And that does work for grounding, but through my experience, I was grounding, but that was like going around the root chakra. It wasn't actually grounding through the root chakra. And if you think about your spine and the spine going through each of your chakras, when you ground, it should go right through the center of those chakras and down into the earth. So I didn't know any different until the spring equinox stuff came up, and I was like, holy crap, like what is happening? I mean, it really, I had to look at a lot of things that I didn't think were big deals. And a lot of past life stuff. We've all had lifetimes where it has messed with our root chakra. So our root chakra is about safety, security, familiarity, consistency, confidence comes from your root chakra. There is a heart piece to that as well as a sacral piece to that, but the root chakra is very much involved in that. And I didn't realize how much it really was involved in that until I went through this process. You can't be shy with this. You have to be willing to look in the dark spaces. So if you know how to work on your stuff, you should consciously connect to root chakra and ask what needs to be healed in order for you to be able to fully ground through that root chakra. Now I'm going to draw some cards to help with the messaging around root chakra, because everyone's issues in the root chakra are going to be different, right? There are some collective wounds that I think we all need to heal in the root chakra through the trauma of collapsing dimensions. So let's say your soul started in the 12th dimension and then it crashed through time into what we now know as the 3rd dimension. You will have trauma of that in your root chakra. It's not safe. If you have problems with grounding, like you just can't be in your body, or you're half in, what I call the half ins. And what a half in means is like you're grounded to here, like your chi or your higher self or soul only comes into about here. It may be up higher depending on whether you've opened your heart chakra or not. But most of my clients are around here. And they have problems with the lower chakras, the solar plexus, sacral, and root. And there's a lot of divine feminine wounding that is at the base of the spine, those 3 chakras. But you can ground with just being half in, but you're not totally in, and your intuition won't be as heightened. Your psychic gifts require you to be fully in your body. Most of them, not all of them. But a lot of them, especially intuition, requires you to really be grounded and present in the moment to be able to feel everything around you. So while your psychic senses, intuition may be working now, they will increase if you actually get your root chakra to open and truly be the grounding force it's supposed to be. So if you have found yourself here, I posted on my Facebook wall that root chakra was like with this face, like one eye open, like, oh, where like, that's how it was. I felt like I was going through the wash several times over and over and over again. And I had, like I said, I had a lot of past life wounding. A lot of things around confidence and self-doubt came up through the root chakra. The grounding piece though, if you don't feel it's safe to be in your body, or if you don't feel like it's safe to be on earth, you're going to have a hard time being grounded through that root chakra. And many people don't feel it's safe to be in their bodies. Maybe you aren't happy with the way your body looks or feels. That would prevent you from grounding. And it shows signs that there's problems in your root chakra. Maybe you've experienced things on earth in your many different lifetimes where you don't really want to play full in because you're afraid of what might happen. And there's this idea that if you're half outside your body, that if something was to happen on earth, it wouldn't affect you as much because you weren't really here. But that's not true, because your physical body is here and it's going to take the hit whether you're in it or not. There's something else that keeps coming in and out about grounding, and then I talk and then I forget what it is. So I'm going to be patient with that. So what happened once I started to play with really opening my root chakra? And as a theta healer, I have been trained to go to creator source, what they call the seventh plane, to connect to all that is. And I do all my work from that state. Even when I connect to the higher selves, I always go to the creator first, and then I ask to be connected to a higher self or a guide or a Egyptian pantheon god or goddess. So when I was doing this work, I was shown that each chakra, while they stand on its own, we have been taught that they source their energy through the body, maybe earth, but really they need to be sourced from source or creator or all that is, and that they can't be seen as separate from the universe. So what happened when I finally was able to clear the root chakra, I still got some stuff percolating around, some divine feminine wounding, which I will do a whole separate video on for you to understand or have an idea as to what I had to go through in order to clear that. I fully felt like once I did this sourcing of the chakras, I truly felt like I was one with it all. And we all have had past lifetimes as well as this lifetime where we were taught that we're separate from the creator, we're separate from angels, we're separate from the universe, we're separate from earth, we're separate from each other, blah, 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 blah. But that's not the truth. We are all connected and we are never separate. Even your higher self is not separate from you. It's just that he or she's a higher frequency. Well, there may not be in your physical body yet, because that is occurring. They're still not separate from you. They are you. It's just a higher frequency version of yourself who sees a higher perspective than you do currently. But if you're working on the integration, it will become more and more so that the two are interlapped and there isn't, let's say, a higher self voice and a middle self voice. So once I got my root chakra to open, and I do this thing called sourcing the chakras, it was like someone was zipping me up. I could feel all energy come right up. It's probably comparable to Kundalini, which I've experienced, but it isn't quite like this. And it comes right up. It's like ding, 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 all the way up to the top of my head. And the joy that I feel just reverberates through all of my cells. and I cannot wipe the smile off my face. I think about the things that I want to create, manifest, and the smile from ear to ear as I pull in that higher energy. So why the root chakra now? Well, I just talked about how we are in the process of rebirth. That's part of the awakening process, about how we are starting to reintegrate the higher self into the physical being. And that's probably another video as to why that all happens and why it's important for us to do it now. But I digress. When we get our chakras to be totally open, all of them, face all the shit that's in them, and they're full of stuff. It could be sacral, it could be solar plexus. If you're not sure if there's a chakra you need to work on before your root chakra, use muscle testing or a pendulum to ask. Don't put the pendulum over your chakra, just ask of your hands. That's enough. I just find it's easier to do it over your hand when you're testing whether a chakra needs to be worked on, like to find out which one needs to be worked on first, versus you trying to hold it over your body and like try to, over your head and figure out which way it's spinning. Like, forget it. Just do it over your hand. It can be done, but it's a little bit of a gymnastics routine. Make it easier for yourself. So I would just ask, is there a chakra I need to open before I open the root chakra? And your body will tell you through the pendulum or muscle testing if you prefer to do standing up or with your hands, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. And then if you get the root chakra or any other chakra, in meditation, ask to connect and see, sense, or know what's in there that needs to be addressed. Some of the things that can be in a root chakra are abandonment, lack, suffering, sacrifice. All those are in there. Great, great, great things. But back to how the higher self plays into this. So once you can get all 7 chakras open, the main ones, there are many other chakras, but let's talk about the main ones, the main 7. And you can get them to source from the universe. You are inviting in that higher frequency energy into your body, because those chakras can now vibrate at that higher frequency that your higher self holds. So you're not just opening the root chakra to assist you in your 3D body, you're opening that root chakra or any of the other ones in order to be able to hold the higher frequency of your higher self. So what happened when I finally got the root chakra to open, she was able to come fully into my body, totally filled all of my root chakra with source energy, universal energy. And as the energy went up and filled all of my chakras, I pulled her in, because now there's this open channel in my body that fully feels safe to her, for her to fully come in. There's no more blocks. And she comes right in, and the joy that I feel is unbelievable. I cannot even tell you what this feels like. And the smile. And when I think about the things that I want to create or I've seen I'm going to create, the smile from ear to ear, and my cells are vibrating, my hands are going. It's this excitement. Now, if you've ever worked with or tried to work with Abraham Hicks, they talk about pretending that you feel what it's like to have this thing, to feel the joy, to feel the excitement, to feel wealthy before you have it. And I will tell you that I struggled with that for years. Like, when you're struggling to pay the bills, it's hard to get yourself out of that and feel like everything's going to be okay. The universe could take care of you, all of those things. Now, you can be grateful for being able to pay the bills that you do, but excuse me, I had a hard time trying to fake it before you make it. It just didn't work for me. And when I was able to finally open that root chakra and allow this process to happen, I finally understood what she was talking about. I could feel the joy. I could feel the excitement, the happiness, the expansion was huge. And I don't have to fake it anymore, which is great because I know how to get that feeling to go. But this is where we're all going. We're all going to this point where we can get the chakras to fully open to allow a high frequency channel for our higher self to come in and actually allow us to feel what it's like to fully integrate him or her, be able to feel their expansiveness. Your higher self lives in a whole different emotional spectrum. They don't know duality. They don't like to play with duality. They know duality from a 3D perspective, but they use it to their advantage. They don't use it as a way to get stuck or have anger or fear. They will use it as a tool. And I lost my train of thought. Your higher self has lived every lifetime. It's like a library of stuff for everything you've ever learned in any lifetime, whether good, bad, or ugly. So when you pull her in, or him or her, they naturally vibrate at the level of joy, compassion, kindness, happiness. There is nothing else. That is what your higher self is, and that's what you are becoming. And in order for you to integrate that, you have to be willing to do the work in your chakras, mine in the root chakra specifically, and allow those chakras no longer to be separate from source. Now, there could be a lot of work entailed in this. This is something that I am teaching to my students in the higher level courses. There are a few of them in that, but there are layers to go through before you get to that point to be able to be ready to take this version of yourself in. But for those that are working with it, it is amazing for me to watch them understand and feel what it's like to actually have their higher self in their physical being, and to watch the body, the physical body, respond to that. Because your physical body is going to have this response of vibration, maybe more strength of light coming out of your hands and your feet and your eyes. Light comes out of your eyes, and being able to experience that and then work with that and help them understand what that means and what their higher self's purpose and passions and ideas are and how the two of them can blend. It's a new way of approaching the world. So that's where I have been for the last 2 weeks, working on the root chakra piece. And I just gave myself time to honor that. If you find yourself there, do the same thing. Like, I still run my business, I still have clients, I still do all this stuff, but I needed to give myself the time that I would normally record a video to that. So hopefully that makes sense. You can imagine if you went into your root chakra or any chakra, you can imagine yourself dropping into it and then feeling around, seeing what's in there. And if you are a seer, ask to be shown. If you're a feeler, then ask, what is the general feeling in your root chakra? And just allow that. Your body will communicate with you if you're open to do it. In fact, it does it more often than not. Just a quick story. I had gone to Vitamin Shop because I needed something. I had ordered it from online, but what I got was not what I wanted, and I needed it. So I went to Vitamin Shop for this one thing. And before I left the store, I was told I couldn't leave yet. There was something else I needed. Now, I had no other plans there at all. This is a great thing that you can do to practice for fun, play with your psychic senses. This is a great thing to do. I just said, okay, where is it in the store? And I just heard, I went down aisle by aisle and I just heard next, 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 next. Trust your intuition. So I ended up at the very end of the store, and they said all the way down the end. So I'm like in the corner, you know, it's like teed, and there's a shelf of herbs. I was like, okay. I said, well, there's a lot here. What is it? And I heard top shelf. So I looked top shelf, and I'm like, okay, is it an A, a B? And I heard it's an M. So I looked at the M, there are only like 3 options. And the minute I put my eyes on it, I knew what it was. And that was my body telling me that it needed that herb. And I'd heard of this herb, but it wasn't anything I had used before. But I bought it and I trusted that that's what my body needed. Your body and your chakras are telling you all the time what you need or what it needs in order to maintain homeostasis, which is balance, health. And if you listen, you'll get those. Sometimes I play and I don't get the result I want, but I'm just willing to play with it. But this was inundated. And I have noticed that after I've opened my root chakra that my psychic senses are stronger because I'm fully grounded into my body. That negative voice you hear all the time that says you're not good enough, you've missed your chance, you're not worthy, I don't deserve it, doubt, all of that stuff happens because you're not grounded in your root chakra. If you're fully grounded in your root chakra, those things go away because you hold the energy of confidence, strength, awareness, abundance. That's all in root chakra. So if you struggle with that, then there's work to be done in that area. So once I cleared it, not only am I more confident, but my psychic senses are better. Because I'm fully grounded into my body. Remember in the beginning, I told you that your psychic senses will work better if you fully ground in and get all your chakras to open. The other thing I've noticed is my smell-o-vision is much stronger. Like we'll watch videos and I can smell fire or smoke or food. It's sometimes discerning, but it is what it is. So hopefully that helped. One, understand where I've been and what I've been going through, and hopefully that can help you. If you want to understand how better to work with the root chakra and maybe help with clearing it, you can join my Facebook group, which is linked below, or you can sign up for submit the form for a 15-minute ancient soul discovery call. No healing is done on that. That's just a talk between you and I to see how I might be able to best help you. If you wait for my next video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get notified when I post new videos. And please like it if you like this video. So I'm going to pull 2 cards involving this chakra thing, that this root chakra work that I've been doing, just as a general message for everyone who may be going through this or some semblance of this to understand what actually might be in the way. Card fell out. I'm just going to get 2 out of this. These are Magical Dimension Oracle deck by Lightstar. So there seems to be a theme with these cards, but this is the first card I got. This is the Ice Queen. The bottom it says introspection, self-analysis, and fortitude. It's also a 22, which we're in a 22 year. I was going to channel and they said, I already know what to say. Okay, fine. So the big thing with this card, and I got this last week as well for myself, is how many of you spend most of your time up here? Analyzing, worrying about if you've made the right choices, if you're making the right choice, stress, over analyzing things, sweating the small stuff, trying to find clues to prove that something you believe is true. Social media, news, all is here. It's the analytical part. And when we do that, we are not present in the moment. We're either worrying about something that we did in the past that we think might have messed up our life, or maybe we think someone else messed up our life and we dwell on that, or we're worried about the future. And the root chakra is about one time only, and it is about right now. Your higher self only cares about this moment. Yes, he or she knows what's coming for you in the future. They already have that planned out. So you don't have to worry about it. You only have to worry about this moment. What are you choosing to do in this moment? Are you choosing to be in your heart space? Or are you choosing to be up here? And of course, there's always going to be times when we have to use the analytical minds, depending on what type of job you have, right? So let's say you're a doctor or engineer. Yes, totally in the mind. But the heart is where we're moving to and below, into those lower chakras. And when you're in this self-analyzing hamster wheel, you're not in your root chakra. You can test this. When you're all spinning and self-analyzing, if you remember, I challenge you to test if you're grounded. I will guarantee you 70% of the time, if not more, you will find that you're ungrounded. And what happens is you're not in your chakras. And the minute you go out, right, you don't cut the cords to your intuition, but you don't hear your intuition as much. You almost static it out like a loud radio. You can't hear your guides as much. You'll get conflicting information. This happens a lot to my clients. They're like, why am I getting all these different answers with, say, a pendulum? And it's because you're not grounded. When you're not grounded fully in your body, you're not going to get true answers. You have to be grounded fully in your body to get the pendulum to tell you the truth. It's like being plugged into the wall a half and the light is turning on, but then it turns on and off because the energy cycle isn't full. So in order to work in the root chakra, you have to be present. And your body and your mind and your soul will tell you what it is in your root chakra that needs to be addressed. A wound, more than likely there's a wound. Wounds in your root chakra that are preventing you from feeling safe fully in your body. So we go into this over-analyzing spin so that we don't have to face what's in our root chakra. But if we really want to be able to awaken, ascend, integrate our higher selves, we have to do that work, and no one else is going to do it for you. Sure, you can work with me, or you can work with another person that does this type of work, and they can help you weed out what's in the root chakra. But you have to consciously do the work. And that means that you can't go lay on a table for an hour and have body work done and think that that's going to be enough. And I may piss off people by saying that, but I just know that by working through this, there's a couple of things that have to happen. Now you can have body work done and some of it will go, but some of it won't. And here's why. There's something in you remembering your root chakra, that the wounds are in your root chakra, whether it's this lifetime or a past lifetime, that your soul wants you to remember. I say this to my clients all the time. I said, yes, this work with wounds in the past life kind of sucks sometimes to realize some of the stuff that we've done. And believe me, we've all not been nice people. But behind that wound is something that your soul wants you to remember about yourself that will help you now, whether it's a gift, a psychic gift that hasn't come online yet, knowledge that can help now, maybe that you work with someone, let's say like Merlin or a Buddha or someone like that, or Joan of Arc or someone like that. And in you remembering those things, you'll get confidence because you've already mastered something in another lifetime, or you've already done that thing. So oh my God, what's going to happen is gone. You've already done it. So sure, you can do body work and they can move all that stuff a bit. But if you really, really want to do the deep work, you have to be willing to see what your wounds are. And it's not to relive them. I'm not about that. Like when I work with a client, it's like, okay, I work with a higher self, I connect to creator, and then I work with a higher self. And I say, okay, where is this issue that my client is having? Where does that come from? What was the original wound to that? Now it could be this life, it could be past life, it could be ancestral. We just bring it back. I ask them some questions based on what I'm seeing. They validate it with the pendulum, whether it's true or not, whether we have the story correct. We figure out what the issue is, and then we just wipe it clean. Doesn't mean that there aren't tears or anger or feelings that come up. Your cells are literally releasing it, so it's normal. But when they realize where they've been, who they've worked with, what they've already mastered, it increases their confidence because you're not learning from scratch. Your soul already knows these things and you can access all that stuff. But many times there's a wound in the way that's preventing you from being able to access it. And it could be something like persecution for your gift. Maybe there was an awful event that happened involving your gift and now you can't get there. There's so many reasons why. I mean, through my travels with myself, my clients, I mean, I've been all over the globe in past lives and other planets. So where are you not being present in your life? And why can't you not be present? If you're somebody who's running around constantly, doesn't get a lot of sleep, either you can't sleep or your schedule's too busy, or you have to have the to-do list through the thing. Are you afraid to stop? And if you are afraid to stop, why? Because that's just another way to not be fully present in your life. That magic that you're looking for happens in stillness. And I'm not saying lying down or sitting on the floor meditating. Stillness can be walking by yourself, not listening to anything but the sounds of Mother Earth around you. It could be riding a bike. It could be sitting in the sun, drinking a hot cup of tea. And in those moments is when you get this creative impulses and you get signs or maybe messages from your guides. And the other thing that happens is that you will ground. Maybe not all the way in, but you'll have a moment of full groundness when you're still. When you're overanalyzing, you're not fully here. So beyond the fact that you can't get your intuition to quite work, your psychic senses, it doesn't help your physical body be able to heal itself either. I mean, if you try and come up with a good example. I don't know if I can come up with a good one at the moment, but let's say, give me a good analogy. Show me a plant. So it's springtime. If you plant a plant and you don't plant it deep enough, the roots stay on the surface and may take longer to get deep enough into the ground to get nutrients. They also showed me a pole. If you were putting a pole in the ground, if you only dug 3 inches in, the pole ain't standing up. You have to go deeper into the ground to get the pole to stand up. You have to put the pole all the way in your grounding rod. You can't just put it in the top. You need the nutrients that your body gets. That grounding force is part of the fuel for your body. And when it's not fully grounded in, things don't work right. And it does affect how your body can heal itself. Beyond, it causes it a lot of stress. So wherever you are on your path, you need to become present and do the work with whoever you feel called to do the work with, to work through the layers so that being still is comfortable. You know, I mentioned before that if you're somebody who has like a zillion things to do, while it's somewhat addictive and it's who you are, I find that many of them are afraid to stop. And because they're afraid of being still, because they might have to face something that they are trying to avoid. So if that's you, it's time to stop. It doesn't mean you have to slam on the brakes, but you need to start finding places to be stillness. And this could be just simple play. If you can't do true stillness and I like to paint, and that's stillness for me. I just use color. I don't have any plan necessarily. I just let happen what happens. You need to find that. That is very much the root chakra. Even though you spend all this time up here, people think it's crown and third eye, but really the root chakra is in play there because you're not fully grounding into your body because there's some type of sacrifice, suffering, lack, safety issue, a fear of what would happen if you were fully present in your body. You know, if you do have wounding from a past life, you may be afraid to actually fully ground because you know that by doing so, all these gifts will activate and you're afraid of what that might look like. You'd be surprised at what's in there. But it starts with you first slowing down the self-analysis and becoming still to be able to look into those wounds. And I said there was a theme here because both cards are white. We have celestial assistance. Now, this is angelic messages, guidance, and enlightenment. You are never alone. This idea that you have to do this work alone, and I have felt alone on my path. But we have to remember that we're always surrounded by legions of angels and guides, ascended masters, ancestors, and potentially even friends that you have known in other lifetimes that aren't related to you, but yet are here to help you, are always there to help. But when we're in that brain funk, we don't think to do this. We just spin. So they're asking to make sure that you're asking for their help. The other thing in that is in the root chakra, I said that my intuition increased and my psychic senses increased after I was able to fully open that chakra. In a way, I feel like they're saying this is the gift if you do the work. Not that they aren't there already, that you will be able to hear, sense, see, or know them more than you are now. And I know many, many people who want to strengthen the connection to this. Why can't I hear my guides? Why can't I see them? How your psychic senses work is really individual to each of you, just like your fingerprints. So there's not one way to see, sense, or know a guide. But when you're physically grounded through all your chakras and they're fully open, source to the universe, this just happens. There's no getting around it. It's kind of cool. So hopefully that helped you understand the root chakra, some of the root chakra work that's going on, and how you can delve into your own root chakra work, or even find out if that's the chakra that your higher self wants you to work on first. Again, if you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. You really help me build my channel by doing that. If you want help with figuring out what's up with your root chakras and how to get them to actually connect to source energy instead of the 3D constructs, I did a video on how there is not one matrix. All your chakras are matrices pretty much, and it's about getting those chakras to unplug from the 3D matrices and plug into the universal or divine order matrices. If you want help with that, you can join my Facebook group, or you can sign up for a 15-minute Ancient Soul discovery call. There is a form you need to fill out in order to do that. If you don't fill out the form, I will not be in contact with you. I just need to talk to those who are really ready. If you're not sure, join the Facebook group. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.